I'm going to show you a little bit about the Driveline center support bearing or carrier bearing. This is a 2003 Dodge 2500. This is a brand new one from O'Reilly's. This is the old one. It looks like on this old one, it looks like the bearing overheated and melted the rubber. So I think the bearing actually failed. This part right here actually failed, overheated, and went south from there. But this is O'Reilly's. This is the third carrier bearing that I have had to replace in 10 months from O'Reilly's. I am done, tired of doing this. So I bought one from the Dodge dealer. Cost me quite a bit more. There it is, it's already installed. I don't know that the rubber or the structure looks any different. What I'm hoping is the integrity of the bearing is better quality and I won't have so much trouble with the darn thing going out. When you do these, you can't just take them off and put them back in. This bearing has to be pressed on. You can't take it off by hand. The bearing here has to be pressed off with a press. You have to take it to a shop and they have to press the old one off and press this new one on. It's pressed onto this shaft. And it has to be done on a press that's big enough for this shaft to get into. Some shops don't have a press big enough. I'll take it under the truck and show you what's going on under the truck. One thing I would like to point out about this carrier bearing is that most of the time it's going to fail because you fail to maintain your U-joints. U-joints will wear out, causes a vibration in the drive shaft, and that vibration will eventually cause the center support bearing to fail. So make sure you keep your U-joints maintained well. In this case, I'm pretty sure the bearing failed and overheated. I don't believe there's any vibration in the drive shaft that I have. My U-joints are in good shape, and I always align the shaft correctly the way I took it out. Pretty sure it just failed because it was not an OEM part. So that's why I bought a Mopar. Cost me quite a bit more money, but honestly, it cost me the same because I bought 3 carrier bearings in a 10-month period at $75 a piece, which is more than the cost of one OEM part. And hopefully it'll last me at least a year, maybe 2 years. Before we go under the truck, your drive shaft, the other part, will align with this shaft, with the splines. See that guy right there missing a tooth? Well, you have to turn it correctly so that your shaft will align the same as it did when you took it out. It doesn't just go in however it goes in. You have to align this double tooth area. And I'll show you that also when we get in there, under the truck. Your drive shaft is 2 pieces. This is the rear piece. And there's the front piece. Front piece goes into the crankcase there. Carrier bearing bolts right to there. Splines into the second piece, and then the second piece bolts to the differential. So I'm going to go ahead and set things up here. I'm going to bolt, let's see, the front piece goes on first. So the carrier bearing and this guy front spline goes in first. So there's the carrier bearing, there's the spline. That goes up first, and then we do the rear piece. Front drive line is in. carrier bearing is bolted on. There and there, that's a number 15. You're gonna want an extension to put up in here. Like this. Extension goes up in there like that. Okay. And then you'll want a number 15 wrench that goes in, number 15-inch wrench that goes in up here. Right there. You have to, there's a nut and a bolt there. And then, of course, I've got the splines in right here in the transfer case. Now the rear one goes in. Gonna bolt it up first, and then, or slide it into the splines first, and then bolt it to the differential. So the rear drive line spline is on. Looks like I got some overheating on that. Got hot when this bearing failed. Anyway, that can't just go on however it wants. It has to be aligned correctly with the groove that I showed you at the beginning of the video. Then I had to put the truck in neutral, put the e-brake on, because I will have to rotate this shaft so that it will aligns correctly with the bolts on the flange in the back on the differential. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, bolted in. I would like to point out that these bolts that go onto your flange, they're not square. It's a rectangle. So you have to rotate the shaft till you get it aligned correctly. Very important. You could mark it with a piece of chalk if you wanted to, but I didn't do it. Anyway, all done. There should be a boot on my shaft, but the boot on the shaft right there has been missing for a long time. I need to replace it and put it on there. I guess I'll take care of that one of these days. And then, anyway, there's your carrier bearing bolted on, and there's the front shaft going to the transfer case. Hope this video helps. Have a good day.